homesteading to prepping to common horse sense, we are College Hill Farm. Welcome back to College Hill Farm. Well, this is the final episode of Homestead Basic Electricity. We're going to unbox our Champion 5,000 watt surge 4,000 watt dual fuel generator and take you along for the ride, let you see what's in the box and what's here. We won't do a first fire up. It's just going to be our first impressions of what's here. I don't know if there's any oil in the box. I don't know if I have 10W30, it's regular motor oil. So I don't know if I have any of that. So I'm just going to be an unboxing and putting the unit together. So let's go ahead and get started. Now the unit comes with the propane adapter. So it's dual fuel. Why is it dual fuel? Because you can keep propane for 10 years and it's still good. Okay, so if something happened and you couldn't get propane and you couldn't get gasoline, you'd still have propane and could operate this generator. So it keeps longer than diesel fuel. So let's go ahead and get it open and see what's in the box. I like this box, it's heavy duty. Of course it'd have to be. This thing weighs over 100 pounds, so it's a little on the heavy side. Now, I might have to take this back, so I'm going to try and turn it over and not destroy the box. So let's see if we can get this out without tearing the box up. Well, what am I catching on? Nothing really. Now, for those of you that are going to say that you shouldn't turn this over, well, I'm going to let it sit, but I don't think there's any oil in it. They don't ship this stuff with oil in it generally. Of course, here's the owner's manual. It may tell me in there that I wasn't supposed to turn it up, but it's too late now. Man, this thing's heavy. Let me tell you a good one on me. I bought this like 5 days ago. And at the store, it had another generator sitting on top of it, and I set that generator off and went to get this box. Well, when I went to lift it, I should have asked for help. Do you want to know what the number one thing that gets older guys like me hurt? Thinking that they're younger guys. Okay, thinking they're still young again. They can do the stuff they did when they were young. I used to squat 500 pounds. Okay, I could squat 500. Deadlift more than that. So I can't do that anymore. I hurt my arm. I thought I was going to die. So it's been 4 or 5 days, so we're starting to heal up. So, but I'm not going to hurt it again. Rule: should have asked for help. All right. It comes with the little funnel for filling the oil. Here's the propane attachment. Okay, now let's have a look at the front. And look at the front here. There's no place to put a battery, so it's a pull start. Okay, but let you in on a little secret. If you've got a battery powered drill, you can cut a hole in your pull starter. After the warranty's out, you can cut out this part right here and get to the bolt that's on there and use a battery powered drill and crank that all day long. Okay, so you don't have to keep the pull starter as the only way to start. You can use a battery powered drill to start that baby right up. Just I'll wait till the warranty's out, and then that will probably get cut out. Came with a 1-year warranty. I could have bought a second year for like $70, but I don't see buying these second year warranties. They want extra money for guaranteeing something. It comes with an original 1-year warranty. If it don't tear up in the first year, it's probably not going to tear up. And I'm pretty handy. There ain't much on these little engines that I can't work on. So, of course it comes. This is a standard RV plug. Everybody thinks this is 220. That's 120 volts for a recreational vehicle, a travel trailer or a motorhome. This generator would run a motorhome real good, or a travel trailer real good, with a 13,000 BTU air conditioner. It would, that's what we used to have. It would do that all day long. It's 30 amps. Ours was 30 amps, but I connected so many 20 amp circuits and ran it that I know this 30 amp circuit would have run our 24-foot RV like nobody's business. Then we got the 120 volt twist lock connector. There's no 220 here at all, so you're not going to be able to run a 220 welder or anything like that off of this. But that's a 30 amp connector. And then these are 20 amps. Now I'm betting that it's just 20 amps for both of them, okay? It's not 20 amps and 20 amps, it's just 20 amps, period. Now, a little word of warning. Somebody dies every year from operating a generator outside. Because of the grounding, the way generators ground, they fail to protect themselves from wet situations and things like that. They also use inappropriate extension cords. For this generator, it's fused at 20 amps. Okay, and I'm sure that it has a ground fault circuit interrupter, but I'll look it up and I'll put it in a comment right down here in writing whether or not it does have a ground fault circuit interrupter. It should have. So, but never use an extension cord that isn't at least a number 12 with one of these generators. Don't use a number 16 or a 14 or 14. The size 14 extension cord is good for 15 amps is all. A 16 extension cord is only good for 11 amps. Alright? A size 16 extension cord is only good for 11 amps. So, don't use those little bitty extension cords with something that can deliver 20 amps. You'll blow them up, you'll wind up in the hospital with a shock or a burn. So, don't do that. Now, over here, right here, is the fuel shutoff. I love it that it's right here up front. I love that the fuel shutoff is right here. Some of the other implements that I have, the fuel shutoff is up under beside the engine and it's hard to get to. And if it's hot, oh, what a pain in the butt. You need to be able to have it running and shut the fuel off and let it run the carburetor dry, especially on generators. you need to be able to do that. Now, as far as the propane, of course, when this is pushed over, this connects. There's a switch right here that will not let anything go on with the gasoline portion. It cuts the gas off. And this will only close if the gas lever is shut off. Okay? That disengages that totally. So, right here is where you connect your fuel, where you connect the propane tank. I like that it's up front where the plug-ins are, so that if you back this in somewhere, which you can't put this in an enclosed area, okay? Don't think about that. But you can put it in a shed or something, an overhang that would keep it out of the weather. And let's turn it around and look at the back. Now, looking right here, if I'm looking at this right here's your spark plug. And it looks like there's only one. So one under the bottom? No. It's a single spark plug, single cylinder. Right here is your fuel intake. And right here is the fuel pickup. It's up here on top. Right here. Okay, the fuel pickup line is right there. Now, the last generator I had, the fuel pickup line was up under here. It just drained down. There was no pump that pumped nothing. This one has its own pump, apparently, that pulls the fuel in. So, is that right? Where does that go? Right there? Yeah. Yeah, it has its own fuel pickup pump. So when this comes in, the carburetor's here, and trying to decide what's that. I guess that's the top of the cylinder. That must be the head, how you get to the head. And looking at the head laying over here, that's exactly what that is. And then right here is the muffler. Okay, right there's the muffler. And it connects right here to the head. And I would bet that this is pretty loud. Looking at this, the way the muffler exits here, it looks pretty loud, but it looks like it's made so that you could put some kind of hose and take this out. But that lip's awful small. Come over here and let you look at it. This lip right here is terribly, terribly small, so I don't know if it's made for something to go there, but you might be able to just back this up to something and have an exhaust coming out so you could back it up to a structure, but it would get awful hot. So I don't know how well that would work out. Of course, this is the top of the cylinder. The top of the cylinder. And your valves will be right under here. Here's the air intake. Okay. And the carburetor, and right here will be the adjustment. Let's see. Yeah. There's the adjustment for the choke. There's the choke. It would be easy to get to if you had to maintain this engine. You know, maintaining them is a big deal. And then right here is the choke. Okay, the air choke. So, and you're able to get to it right from where you pull, which I like that. You can get to it right where you pull. Some of them have it around on this side and the pull's on the other side, and it makes it a little aggravating. So overall, I'm fairly impressed with this engine, with this little generator. I don't like one thing. There is no, I'm glad that's got that. It's got a screen, but there's no fuel gauge. There's no sight. Of course, it's got all the warnings posted on it. Back here's the back side. Okay, here's the generator part. But it looks like one of the things that I really am not going to like is the way the oil is buried. the oil spout is buried under the bottom. You would think that they would bring that out further. I might make a tube that brings that out. But, see around here, here's the choke. Right there. Start and run. And it will allow you to vary in between. So, it's got that standard. If you look, governor control with the springs. See it back in there? That's a standard. You see it a lot on Briggs and Stratton engines. I don't know what this engine is. It doesn't say. It's probably manufactured by somebody like Briggs and Stratton, but it might not be. It might be a totally something else. The electrics back here, how are they put on? You can't get a good look. They're all enclosed. That's good. Some of the generators I've had in the past, the electrics back here on the back behind the plate were put on with stake-ons and things like that. Okay, let's get back here and look at that oil. Okay, here's the front of the generator. Okay, and down under the bottom, the oil is buried down here. That's why they give you this little long oil spout so you can put oil in it, because it's buried down in there. So, one of the things, well, I'll get to that in just a second. So, it uses regular 10W30. Of course, here's the champion stuff about the engine. It tells us the different things when the engine was, when it was manufactured, July 2019, and gives you the part number. So, I'm sure we'll have a look at the manual here, and it has the resets all right up here on top. They'll pop out on these, and they're all enclosed. So, let's get a look at what the manual tells us. Now, after a quick peruse of the manual, and I had already looked up the specifications before I went and bought it, but I just wanted to review them here so I could give you the straight up, okay? It says in the manual, and it'll say in your generator manual, that you need to ground your generator when you're out in the field. Okay, if you're going to use this generator in a remote location, you need to have a copper rod that you drive into the ground so that this is grounded. It can save your life. Proper grounding is very, very, very important. Everybody wants to come out, throw the generator, grab this generator, set it on the ground, start it up, and start using it. You need to have a ground rod drove in the ground and grounded to this generator wherever you're at. Okay? It'll save your life. Let me say it again. You need to have a ground rod in the ground with one of these generators, whether it's this one or somebody else's, and it could save your life. It cuts down on electrical deaths every year. So, be certain to do that. Now, of course, 10W30 is the oil, and that's good down to 0. If it goes below 0, they recommend 5W30. But for me, I'm going to leave 10W30 in it and run it all the time. Because by the time it gets down to 0 degrees, it'll be warming up enough that the air around the engine's going to be warm enough that I don't have to worry about operating it below 20. Okay? It'll already be warmed up. Or below 0. The next thing important was that you can't use E85. You can't use ethanol. You can't hardly find gasoline without 10% ethanol, but you can't use 15% ethanol in this. And if you use ethanol-based gasoline, you need to use a stabilizer, all right, or else water will accumulate. Ethanol is water-aphilic. It loves it. It grabs it and holds on to it. So if you're using ethanol-based gasoline in a generator, a golf cart, or whatever, you really ought to put a fuel stabilizer in it. It'll help keep down all of that water. Of course, it goes on and does all the safety stuff that smart people ought to know better than. Like, you don't smoke a cigarette while you're filling the gasoline up. Okay? But it goes through all that. Then the next important thing in the manual, of course, was about all the hookups. Every generator bought. Don't be a typical man. Use your manual. Don't be a typical man and think I can do this without the manual. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. I'm going to take and, well, before I do that, it says that the hose is made for 20, 30, and 40 pound LPG tanks. Now I've got an adapter for my 100 and my 60 that makes it into like a 20 or 30, so that I can use that same adapter on a 100 pound propane tank. You want to make sure when you connect propane to anything that there's no leaks. You know, use soapy water and all that stuff. Read your manual. Read your manual. Read your manual. It's one of those things that could save your life. It could save your wife's life. It could save somebody in your family's life. Teach people, anybody that's going to be around the generator, you need to teach them the safe operation, what to do if something goes wrong. Okay? And don't have them out there going, boy, I wish Joel was here. He'd know what to do. Teach the folks in your family what to do if the generator, something happens. Okay? You might be incapacitated and somebody needs to come and turn the dang generator off. Alright? So, don't not read your manual. Don't be a typical guy and say, I got this, I'm not going to read the manual. I've run a lot of generators. Read your manual. It'll save you some heartache. The manual's really nice. They offer a free t-shirt if you go on and leave them a review. Well, I wonder if they've got them big enough for me. Anyway, I bet you they won't have one my size. They never do. One last thing before we go. How heavy is this generator? Well, according to the package, it's 116 pounds, box and all. So lifting it to do certain things with it is possible. Is it super heavy? Yeah, it's heavy as lead. So I would move it with my tractor. You know, anywhere I'm going to go, I wouldn't like to lift it up and set it in my truck bed. I could get it off the ground, but that on up would tend to hurt my arms, so I would move it with a tractor if I was you, or move it with some help. Now, if you like this kind of stuff, this homesteading, do-it-yourself kind of thing, be certain to come on out to the channel and subscribe. We do this homesteading stuff every week, sometimes 1, sometimes 5 videos. Just depends on what we're doing on the homestead that week. If you hit the little bell when you come to the channel, it'll notify you when we upload a video. We upload every Sunday. Now, with that being said, it's time for me to get on to the next thing.